Salarah Starre is a UK-based advanced law of attraction teacher trainer, coach, public speaker, and leading wellness expert. She will share life-changing wisdom about the law of attraction and how you can use this powerful universal law to build a foundation for bigger and bolder manifesting results. It is time to create the life you deserve, and with Salarah's help, you will.
And a very, very warm welcome to Manifesting Made Easy with myself, Salarah Starre. As usual, dialing in from the very wet and windy United Kingdom. I really must do some manifesting work on the weather, although it is super lovely and cozy. And I'm recording this today on Saturday, the 7th of January. So very, very happy New Year to you. It was really lovely to do the last wrap-up show of 2022 and our last episode. If you haven't had a chance to go back and listen, I highly recommend doing so we can wrap 2022 in a beautiful bow, extract all the wonderful wisdom and lessons, and move into 2023 fully empowered and ready to embrace some more wonderful opportunities for our growth. So today I decided to focus on building a strong, solid foundation for our manifestation. So what exactly does that mean? Well, first of all, I will share with you the impacts of not having a strong, solid foundation, and let me know if you can relate to this from some of your own experiences. If we don't have a strong, solid foundation, our manifestations are very inconsistent. They feel very, very hard to reel in. And when we do reel them in, they can be quite troublesome. And this is what I call a diseased manifestation. It basically means that it is very, very hard work. Things seem to go wrong, and it feels like more of a stressful experience rather than that of one of which is fun and flow. So building a strong, solid foundations can be likened to, let's just say, an old oak tree. Imagine you've got a beautiful old oak tree in your garden that has these very, very strong, powerful roots that go deep into the ground of the earth. That means that when there are storms, which we know life, it can be stormy at times, this oak tree can weather the storms with ease and grace. It may lose a couple of leaves here and there, potentially, if it's an intense storm, a branch, but the tree itself stays firmly rooted into the ground. That is the same with our energetic frequencies when it comes to general well-being, but also connected to our manifestations. We need to become a little bit like the old oak tree. It's so important to have our own strong, solid foundations in the ground beneath us, so that when we do encounter storms of life of any kind, we are then able to weather the storms with ease and grace. But what does that look like? So what I have discovered over time of having my own practice and coming in and out of the practice as well, I might add, I haven't always been consistent within my practice. I haven't always showed up every single day in one way or another. I have been a bit of a stop starter in some respects. I have only come to my manifesting practice when there has been something that I want to manifest, and I've come to my practice with something specific. But what I've found with that is when I come to my manifesting, my foundational well-being practice periodically, is I don't create that consistent vibration that will help me to manifest more quickly, but also help me to get really powerful results. So I've had to really work on that within myself. So you may find that that is something that you have had to do as well. So now coming into this new year, what we can do is we can say, right, I really am ready and willing to do this. I really am ready and willing to create the strong foundation so that when storms in life do come, which they will, I'm able, like the old oak tree, to stay firmly rooted in the ground. I may lose a leaf or two, or potentially a branch, but my essence will stay firmly rooted. Now, we can do that by building and cultivating a strong daily practice. Now, when I use the word daily, I have to be completely transparent with you. I don't do it every single day, but I do show up for my practice at least 4 or 5 times a week. I give myself a day off here and there. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes life events happen and routine shifts and changes, and it's about learning to be adaptable within that change and not putting pressure on ourselves if we're not able to show up. But it's also about not making excuses either. So it's a very, very fine dance, and you intuitively will know the difference between that. But I do strongly recommend building yourself a daily practice, which I'm going to share with you today. And within that daily practice, to show up as much as possible and to become acutely aware of where you may be making excuses, but also let yourself off the hook if something big has happened in your life and you haven't been able to come to your practice. It's a very fine dance between the two. These daily well-being routines, which create the strong foundational roots, are designed to support you in your manifestation practice. They're designed to support you throughout your life. They're designed to help you maintain a strong positive energetic frequency, a strong mindset, strong emotional body. They can help you feel way more connected to yourself and more in control of everything in your life. And they do also help you to stick to healthy daily habits that absolutely support your transformation. They can help you to focus on what's important, what you are focusing on in your own spiritual practice, but also to help you keep your energy in check, to raise your vibrations from the moment you wake up to the time that you go to bed. These beautiful foundational routines can help support the creation of your dreams. Most powerful manifestors absolutely have a daily practice. They absolutely have this, and it is so important to cultivate one of your own so that you can inject positive intention into your day to help you feel stronger and more confident and focused. Last year was a particularly challenging year. I invited in a lot of opportunities to grow, and the challenges came thick and fast in many, many different ways. And I became aware that I had lost sight of my daily practice at the time. When I brought my daily practice back in, everything started to align a lot quicker. The good started to come to me from everyone and everywhere, in every shape and in every form. It was really quite miraculous, and it reminded me just how powerful these daily practices are. Now, there are many, many different forms of daily practices. I invite you to do a little bit of investigation yourself. You may want to do a little bit of research to see what kind of daily practices are out there. I am going to share one with you. What I do with my clients is I create a bespoke daily practice based on their personal needs. So if that's something that you would like to do, you would like to book in a 45-minute focus session to create your own personalized daily practice, then please reach out. That's something that I absolutely do, and I would love to support you on. And what I would love for you to do is take time in your journal to explore what themes and what your focus is to work on and what it is that you want to manifest for the year ahead. So when I come and do this, I look at, right, what limiting beliefs am I ready to let go of? And what am I ready to welcome in? What am I ready to up level in my life, in every area, in my relationships, in my work, in my own well-being, in my health, in my personal development? So it is important just to take time to look at all the different areas of your life, or if that feels like it's too big to do, look at one or two particular areas that you're falling short on energy-wise. You want to bring more good into your life in those areas, and you can focus on those specifically. So there's no right and wrong way, which is what is so lovely about building your own daily practice. But what the first thing to do is discover what your theme is and what your exploration is. Some people call this your North Star. So with this, I focus on my own internal areas of development, whether it is that I'm working on my own inner power, whether I'm working on integrity, whether I'm working on feelings of security. I first of all come to working on feelings within me, because remember, feel first, manifestation second. And if I'm out of alignment, out of integrity, I'm losing inner power, I don't feel safe, then none of my manifestations are going to have the powerful energy behind them to launch them up and above where I am right now. So I do focus on qualities, spiritual qualities and gifts that I want to unlock within myself. How do I know what they are? I basically look around me and in my life, and I look at where things aren't flowing the way that I would like them to flow. Why is it that I'm not reaching the next level? What is it within me that is stopping me from getting to that next level? Well, I don't feel good enough, or I feel powerless, or I don't feel worthy. Okay, well, let's work on healing the feeling, and then the manifestation will come. Okay, so you may find, well, actually, I just want a general desire for feelings of peace, for feelings of safety. I want a general desire of feelings for, feeling good enough and expansion. When you then are able to identify and recognize those, you can put your energy and intention into the cultivation of those through your daily practice. Now, these well-being routines are changeable. You might find that you work on something for a while, and then you've managed to call that into your life through all of your hard work and dedication. So now it's like, right, I can tick that off. Now, what is next on my list? So it is changeable, remember, but what we're going to do is just create one that you can work on for the first 4 or 5 weeks, and then you can review it and say, right, yeah, you know what, I really do feel that I've reached that space, right? What is it now that I am working on? And it's going to be a constant process of growth throughout the year. So this is something that is very, very important for me to say, is once you've reached this, I want you to then look at, right, what is next? Because we are creative beings. We are here to create that of which is missing in our life. Our soul has agreed to come and learn how to create. So it's not a case of I can't, it's a case of, right, universe, show me how. So once you've got the feelings you want to work on, the limiting beliefs that you would like to release, and what it is that you would like to call in, you can then go more into the more practical and the more material stuff. And it's okay to be practical and material. I'm an earth sign. I love the material stuff in life. I absolutely love it. It's when it becomes my God, it then causes me problems. So there's a fine balance between the two. But then it's like, you know what, I'd really love to work on my health this year. I'd love to work on my business expansion. I would love to work on creating more of a community, creating more interpersonal relationships, healing my relationships, whatever it might be. So let's first of all discover what your North Star is. What is your theme? What is your focus for exploration? And once you've got that, then you're able to then put your time, your energy, and your focus into your practice 4 to 7 times a week. One thing that I would say is very, very important to have within your well-being practice, knowing how important feeling is in manifestation, is to learn to connect to your feelings more. So you could ask yourself questions like, how could I connect to and honor my feelings more? I had a little bit of a thing come up for me this last week, and I took 15 minutes. I just set my timer for 15 minutes because I didn't actually have more time. I had a very busy day, and I just tuned into myself. And it's like, well, what am I feeling? And I realized that actually I was feeling a whole host of emotions resulting from something that had happened. So it was like feelings of sadness, feelings of maybe a little bit of anger in there too. And it is so important, my friends, to connect to and honor these feelings, because if you try and run away from them, they're only going to fester and get bigger. And what I've noticed with a lot of people in the manifestation practices is they don't want to feel negative feelings. They don't want to feel negative thoughts. Of course, none of us do. But it is important to learn how to connect to them and release them in order for them no longer to be a part of our vibration anymore, so we can move up and beyond them. So when I discovered that I was feeling these feelings, I then asked myself, right, what is it that I need right now? And I thought, I just need reassurance. I need to give myself a big hug. I need to tell myself what a good job I'm doing. And I took that time to come to myself and become that person in that moment that I needed most. And I tell you what, the feelings of sadness and the feelings of anger went. Instead of me projecting them out and blaming other people, I came to myself. I peeled away the layer of illusion which our ego drags us into, and I looked at what was going on underneath that. And then I was able to connect to that part of me that felt sad, connect to that part of me that felt disappointed, and then give myself what I need. And the alarm went off 15 minutes later. I felt so much better. I had much more clarity, which meant when I came to my manifestation practice, I came to my practice with feelings of ease, with feelings of peace. Now I'm in a good vibration to manifest. So this is why these strong foundations are very important. So the journal prompt you may want to include is, how can I connect to and honor my feelings more? And then another journal prompt that I absolutely love that I got from a coach of mine: if you could connect with the wisest part of yourself, what would that part of you like to teach you? I love that question, because there's a part of us that has already reached all of our manifestations. There's a part of us that has already reached the levels that we want to get to. And it's about learning to connect to that wisest part of ourselves and take advice from that aspect of ourselves. As much as I love and advocate working with coaches and mentors, I also am a great believer that we are also our own oracle. We also have the ability to connect to the wisdom inside of ourselves, which no coach, no mentor, no guru can give us. We are our guru, and we can claim our power back and start listening to the wisdom of ourselves. So you can connect to that part of you on the timeline that has already reached what you want to reach and say, right, what is it that you would like to teach me? What is it that you would like me to know right now? So that's a great journal prompt too. If you could connect with the wisest part of yourself, what would you like it to teach you? Then you can also ask yourself questions like, or you can think of a challenge that you're facing. And instead of buying into the hurt and the pain and the disruption and the wound and the illusion of the challenge, you can ask yourself, what is this here to teach me? Because everything has an opportunity for growth within it. But I'd like to add like a little bit of a warning with this question. I don't want you to spiritually bypass by going straight to the lessons when you're in a challenge. Yes, it's a good thing to do. It shows that you are a powerful soul on a journey ready to grow and learn. But it can also be a bypass of honoring and connecting with your feelings. And this is where a lot of manifestors really fall short. They don't honor their feelings. They don't connect to their feelings. They try and bypass them and wonder why they never reach these new energetic frequencies, new higher levels of vibrations, because there's a whole host of stuff that hasn't been allowed to come up and out and be released. So if you are in the thick of a challenge right now, maybe don't ask yourself that question yet. Give it a couple of weeks for the hurt and the pain to pass, and then come back to the challenge and ask yourself, right, what is it here to teach me? How am I being invited to grow as a result of this lesson? I'm going to be doing a podcast on spiritual bypassing, so keep an eye out for that, because many of us do it unintentionally. We have no idea that we're even on a spiritual bypass, and I'd love to teach you about spiritual bypassing, because I do believe that it's going to be a massive game changer in your manifestation practice. I'm also going to invite you to join my Become a Master Manifestor Facebook group. I'll pop a link in the show notes. Please join that group. I'm going to be sharing more lives to do with manifesting and to do with well-being practices and meditations and visualizations this year. I'm going to be carving out time in my diary, and I want us all to really show up for that. So please join the group and bring your friends along with you as well. Keep an eye out for that in the show notes. And then what you can also do is think about what old stories that you're telling yourself are you ready to drop, and what new stories are you committed to telling yourself, to creating. This is very, very important. I spent so much of my time giving my power away, thinking other people were better than me. And this was driven from things that had happened in my childhood, where certain things had happened. I'll give you a little bit of an example. It was quite an eye-opener, actually, where because I was the youngest child and there was two of us in the family, I would quite often, when we moved into a new house, I would get the smaller room. Or if we had to share a room, I would get the side of the room that had the door. So it meant that my sister would always walk past my side of the bed all the time. I didn't really feel like I had my space in that respect, but I also felt like with the room situation that I'm not good enough, that I'm second best, that what I want doesn't matter, other people are better than me. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but these things that happen in our childhood create these programs. And through these programs, we then start to adopt behaviors in order to make ourselves feel better. So because I had this I am second best and I'm not good enough program running, I would then need a way to overcompensate for that program. And my behavior would then go into some kind of people pleasing, chasing. I would give my power away looking for validation that I was good enough. And when I started to identify these old stories and these old programs and these old events that had created these stories, I was now ready and willing to drop them, say, actually, no, that didn't define me. Just because that happened, it didn't mean to say that I was second best. And I would then start to say, right, what am I now ready and willing to believe? You know, that actually it's okay for me to claim first prize. It's okay for me to believe that actually I am good enough. And I'm no longer going to go into these old behaviors which kept feeding the cycle. I'm going to identify when I go into them, stop them, drop them, and create new ones. I am good enough. I am ready and willing to believe. I am claiming my I am presence, or whatever it might be. So that is very, very important, my friends, for you to think about what you're now ready to drop, remembering that these will be created from old things that happened along the timeline of your life in your childhood, and to recognize those and to no longer feed the old story with certain behavior patterns. Okay, so what are you now ready to tell yourself? What are you now committing to telling yourself? And this is another journal prompt that I love. Who are you becoming? So this is all setting up your North Star. This isn't necessarily that stuff that you have to journal on every day. This is setting up your journal focus for the 4 or 5 weeks that you're going to commit to. And then you can go into your daily journaling once you've set up your North Star, which I invite you once a week to go into reading your North Star so that you can just revise and refresh yourself, but also make tweaks and changes as and where you need to. So now you can go into, what is my intention for the day? How do I want to feel? How am I choosing my day to be? If I completely trusted that the universe had my back, how would I show up differently today? Now, this is one of my favorite questions, and I absolutely invite you to have this as one of your main questions. If I completely trusted that the universe had my back today, how would I show up differently? Well, you know what? If I completely trusted that everything was unfolding exactly the way it needed to, I would relax more. I'd probably be more present. I would smile more. I would laugh more. And I really want you to connect to that. Your ego is going to want to bypass some of these questions, by the way, because your ego wants to stay safe. It doesn't want to grow. But I'm going to invite you to really set your alarm, even if it's for 20 minutes earlier in your day, and take time to explore. And then what you can do, if it feels right for you, is you can create some personalized affirmations around that of which you want to create. I am worthy. I am willing to believe that it's okay for me now to take my place in first prize. I'm using my examples, but I want you to personalize them to your own. I'm willing to believe that I am absolutely safe. I'm willing to believe that the universe does have my back. I'm willing to believe that I do deserve a wonderful life. So once you've created your personalized affirmations, you can then sit with those and feel into them. So you're not just going to write them as a tick list thing. You're going to write it, you're going to say it out loud, and you're going to allow it to sink in. This is very, very important, my friends. We're not into spiritual bypassing, remember. Write it, say it out loud, or if you can't say it out loud, say it in your head, and then allow it to sink in. Feel into that. If it doesn't feel true, use the bridger. I am willing to believe. Okay, so I'm at peace with myself. I am safe and supported by life. I choose to have a peaceful day. In this moment, all is well and I am safe. And then if you want to, you can take some time just to breathe. You can do a meditation practice if you like, whatever it is that you would like to do. There's loads of different things. What is my intention for today? What am I focusing on? Who am I becoming? And what I absolutely invite you to do is to have your gratitude list. Now, gratitude is one of the most important things for creating those strong, solid roots into the ground. I absolutely invite you, if there's nothing that you can do in the day, to make sure that you show up and do your gratitude practice, and to list things that you're grateful for and why you are grateful for them. Okay, this is one of your most powerful activators. If you don't do anything ever and you only do gratitude, this is going to definitely maintain your strong, solid roots. All the other things that I am mentioning are going to create branches and leaves and fruit on your tree that you wouldn't even believe is possible. This is why this foundational work is so important, my friends. It's so important. I'm going to go and do some journaling after this session today, and really, get myself into creating my North Star for the year. I have kind of already done it, but I want to just refresh. So it starts to become that inherent program within me. So 3 things that you are grateful for, at least, and why, but I invite you to do 20. The more you do, the better. And then I'd like you to think about things, considerations that will support your day. If you're feeling overwhelmed, spend time connecting to your feelings, learning to listen deeply to your emotional needs, and just be so kind and gentle to your fears as well. If you can, spend less time on social media or watching TV. Make it a priority to learn and grow. The mainstream narrative is very negative and very depressing, and it only gives you a very, very limited viewpoint of what's going on, if that is even the truth anyway. So please make it self-development before entertainment. Make a commitment to yourself to stop moaning and complaining throughout the day. Yes, it's okay to have feelings and validate them. In fact, as I mentioned before, it's so important in your manifesting practice, but it's having that balance. Am I moaning and complaining excessively? And, just give more loving kindness and compassion to yourself. I also can't reiterate enough how important eating a well-balanced diet is. I did a live with a friend of mine on Become a Master Manifestor Facebook group about food and the law of attraction. Please go along to the timeline, scroll down, you'll see me with a friend of mine, Kyong. She dialed in all the way from the Hamptons, and we spoke for a good 45 minutes to an hour about food and the law of attraction. So if that's something that you'd like to learn more about, then hop into the group and have a little listen there. Increase your water. If you can, do more restorative exercises like Qigong or Tai Chi or yoga. That's very, very powerful for your energy field. And then what you can do is when you go to bed, if it's too much doing a morning and evening routine, I would at least do your morning. Your morning's very important. But if you do have extra time, which I highly recommend, you can then journal again in the evening and ask yourself, what did I do to support myself today? What did I notice about my day? How would I have done today differently? And then you can also free write in your journal. I love free writing in my journal, and just having a good old moan or a good old thank you, writing a letter to the universe, giving deep gratitude and thanks for the day, writing a letter to my future self, writing a letter to my fictitious pen pal as if everything I want has already manifested. And you can do some of your manifesting practices then. So that is a general outline of what you could do to create your own well-being routine. Like I said, you can book in for 45 minutes to an hour session with me. Depending on what's going on, it may be a little bit longer than that. And what we can do then is really work on this. I do a tune-up, tune-in session. For all the listeners on these Manifesting Made Easy, there's a gifted 30% discount to all of you. So if you want your tune-up, tune-in session, it's a mini 4-week program, which I highly recommend if you're going to be setting up your well-being routine, if you want to have that accountability, if you want your personalized routine. And the price for that is £249, which in US or other currencies you may want to check, but you get 30% off that. And it's a 4-week program where you have access to me 5 days a week, and we can have accountability with one another with a 60-minute session at the beginning and a 60-minute session at the end as well. So I'll pop a link in the show notes for you to connect with me on that as well. But in the meantime, I just want you to remember that you are a powerful creative being, and what you put in, you absolutely will get out. If you only put in a little, you'll only get a little out. If you put in a lot, you'll get a lot out. How do I know that? Because I live and breathe it. How do I know that? Because I've guided hundreds, if not thousands of people through since 2003 through these practices. It works. You deserve it, my friend. This year is your up level. Anyway, my lovely ones, I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to overwhelm with too much information. If you've got any questions, drop me an email, salarah@salarahstarre.com. And in the meantime, wishing you the best year you have ever had. And I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Okay, with love, blessings, and gratitude all the way from the very wet and windy UK. Lots of love to you all.
Thanks for listening. Salarah Starre will be back next week with great insights into the law of attraction. In the meantime, please visit salarahstarre.com.